Let's talk about root beer.
Its origins and where it's come so far.
Derica did some research. We got notes. So this is about sassafras, really.
Well, it's about multiple things, but originally it's about sassafras.
By the way, I'm drinking root beer.
So sassafras is one of the most fascinating ingredients in beverage history because it sits at the intersection of indigenous knowledge versus colonial medicine, folk remedies, brewing, and modern food regulation. And yes, all these things
a lot of weight.
Come together and contrast and fight. Like a big fight.
Yes, she is like this all the time.
I am. And the whole sassafras dilemma has been a problem in history.
People have been asking, well, even for
it's
us.
also been a problem for
People
us.
have been asking us to make root beer for a long, long time. And I've always said, isn't it illegal? Like actual root beer.
Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Maybe it is. No, it's not. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But never.
And there's a whole conspiracy behind that. But let's talk about what sassafras is.
Right.
It's a tree native to eastern North America. Long before Europeans arrived, many indigenous peoples used sassafras for teas, medicinal preparations, flavoring, and poultices and topical treatments. Wow, say that 3 times fast.
So different parts of the tree were used, not just the leaves, but roots, root bark, the leaves, and twigs. So like each part of the plant had its own role in what you needed to use it for. So if you're making a tea, you're going to be using probably the leaves. And if you're going to make a poultice, you might use the root and grind it up into a mash so that it's nice and thick and you can put it on a thing, right?
I guess. I cannot say that I've made a poultice in quite some time.
Maybe you should make more poultices.
Maybe I should. The aromatic root bark became especially important because of its sweet, spicy, vanilla-like aroma. And I think that's what gives the characteristic root beer flavor.
Yes.
Many historians consider sassafras one of the first North American plants that Europeans actively commercialized after arriving in the New World.
Right. Fun fact, sassafras was actually more popular as an export than tobacco.
I did not know that. That's kind of surprising to me. I can't imagine that because you just think of tobacco and cotton as the things that came from the Americas.
No, sassafras was the original, the OG in the export from the New World.
In the late 1500s and early 1600s, Europeans believed sassafras could cure an astonishing range of illnesses.
Right. You've heard the term snake oil, right? Sassafras was
snake oil.
The cure-all.
Yeah. I mean, fever reduction, blood purification, digestive aid, treatment for syphilis, and general health tonic. Whenever something says it's a general health tonic, that's pretty much...
That's the BS indicator.
It's just BS. Yeah, there's just no... And treatment for syphilis, that must have gone really well.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all those people that died from syphilis don't agree.
No. Some English expeditions actually returned with shiploads of sassafras roots because demand was so high.
Well, it's something that they never had. And it offers a unique flavor, something that they couldn't get otherwise.
Remember, this originated in the New World.
Yeah.
The colonies were producing this because it was there.
Everything from the New World was special.
Yes.
Yeah. Root beer did not begin as a soft drink.
Nope. It was a medicinal beverage. It was a cure-all based on all those different tonics and curatives that people were soliciting.
Recipes varied wildly, but often included sassafras root bark, wintergreen, birch bark, sarsaparilla, licorice root, ginger, dandelion root, burdock root, and wild cherry bark.
Every family, pharmacist, brewer, and herbalist had their own version, and the whole umbrella came under root beer because many of the ingredients were the roots of the plants.
Interesting side story. When I was a kid, my grandfather used to make birch beer, which is made from the bark of the birch tree. And the first time I think I really tried it, I was in my teens. And by that time, I had tried chewing tobacco. And they actually tasted the same to me. So, yeah, couldn't do the whole birch beer. And I had a commercially made birch beer years later, and it was the same thing. I was like, well, can't do it. Just can't do it. Whereas like my mom, that was what she would order. If a place ever carried birch beer, my mom would order birch beer anytime we went there.
That seems odd, but okay.
Why?
I guess as a family
tradition. They liked it. They loved it. Nope. I thought it was gross, which is really strange because I'm trying to think, like, did I have it as a kid and forgot? Because I would not have known what tobacco spit tasted like when I was 6 years old, you know?
You said you were in your teens.
That's why I'm saying I must have been in my teens the first time I tried it that he made it, because maybe, yeah, it's possible he didn't start until then. I don't know. But Mom loved birch beer. Anyway.
All right, so let's talk more about sassafras and why it disappeared.
This is where things get interesting. There's a little thing called safrole, and animal studies suggested that large doses could be carcinogenic. So as a result, the FDA prohibited the use of safrole-containing sassafras oil in commercially manufactured foods and beverages, which led to most commercial root beers switching to artificial flavorings, wintergreen, alternative spice blends, and saffrole-free extracts. Like, I'm pretty sure that this root beer I'm drinking right now has no safrole in it, no sassafras.
Yep.
Which, this is where the odd dichotomy comes up when people ask us, can we make a root beer? I don't know. Like, there's root beer extracts that you can get that you just pour it into like carbonated water and you got root beer. That to me seems a little bit boring.
Sure.
I don't want to do that.
But
I want to make
as we continue through the heritage of root beer, there is a large disconnect from the origins of root beer to what we are served now.
That's true. Okay.
All right, so this dude.
Charles Elmer Hires. That's right. You've heard of Hires root beer before. Yep. Well, he invented this stuff.
In the 1870s, Hires developed a commercial root tea mixture.
He called it root tea.
Yep. And then people were like, well, what's this tea stuff? So he changed it to root beer. Now the men get it because it's beer.
Yep. Kind of like ginger beer. Same concept. Yep. It's just a soda.
It's just words, people. But hey, it's part of marketing.
But it appealed to more of the working class consumers. So that's why it suddenly took off. Whether every detail of that story is perfectly accurate is debated, but the branding worked. Root beer exploded in popularity. So,
all right. Was root beer alcoholic originally? Sometimes. And the sometimes situation is due to the natural carbonation effect. So even if it wasn't a brewed brew, if they want it carbonated, if they want fizzy and bubbly, then that's a mini controlled fermentation. So there could be a small amount of alcohol in it.
Yeah, it says here very low alcohol, similar to ginger beer, often 1% to 2%. I'm going to disagree. That's a lot of carbonation to be 1% or 2%.
It's more like 0.5.
Yeah, about 0.5% usually from a naturally carbonated beverage. That's about right. As commercial soda production expanded, most root beer became completely non-alcoholic because they just started keg carving, pressure carving.
Yep.
Force carving, as you will. So an interesting question. Have most people today ever tasted real historical root beer?
We have.
We have.
We have had some of the craft root beer makers actually go back to the original recipe. And so it's not as sweet. It's more medicinal flavored and it has more of the root bases on the original list that we shared with you already.
But the correct answer is probably not.
Yes. That's why I caveated it with we have.
Yeah. Okay. Now that you're saying that, yeah.
But
I remember that.
Most of the root beers that you can get now commercially available have
like this is what I'm drinking.
No resemblance to the original.
Yeah. I actually like the modern one way better than the original.
Sure.
I think most people would prefer it because that's what we grew up with.
Sweet and smooth, where the original was kind of medicinal and harsh.
Yeah. Most modern root beers emphasize vanilla, wintergreen, and sweetness, where historic root beers were more herbal, more medicinal, more earthy, and less sweet. Many modern drinkers would barely even recognize it as root beer.
Right. So this information then leads us to where do we want to take root beer on Zero Brews? Do we want to utilize the medicinal aspects of their OG root
There's
beer?
So many ways to go with that. There's a million ingredients that could go in.
Do we want to push towards the sweet vanilla flavorings? I don't want it to go too far in the sweet vanilla so that it turns out more like a cream soda than a root beer.
I'm okay with that too, though.
But we can do a cream soda separate. But I don't want it to be too medicinal tasting that we're both like...
So we have to go middle of the road.
If there is a way we combine the two where you get some of the medicinal properties, which we'll have to research further, and we have help on that front.
Yep.
And...
We know an herbalist.
We do. And we still incorporate some of the vanilla and the sweetness as well.
So kind of
maybe
the Goldilocks version of root beer.
Perhaps even utilizing a naturally sourced sweetener that isn't calorific. I'm thinking
That's gonna
stevia.
be tough.
I'm thinking stevia.
Ooh, could we do it with stevia? Maybe. Stevia has some weird flavors when you
But
use
so
it.
does root beer.
That's true. It
So
might actually work in
It
a
might
root beer.
work well in root beer.
Because it's
See?
yeah. Okay, well, we got a foundation to work from.
That is right. What is your favorite part of root beer that you would like to see in a homebrewed version that we can incorporate in the flavor profile? Let us know in the comments below.
And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.
Bye-bye.